Today, we're diving into a story that all starts with a single sentence popping up on a phone screen. But that one sentence, it unravels this whole calculated web of manipulation and fear.
Just imagine getting this message. No name, no context. Just 4 simple words designed to make your heart stop. Well, for one 19-year-old college student, this wasn't some scary what-if scenario. This was the beginning of an absolute nightmare.
So who got this message? A 19-year-old college student named Emily Carter. She was living away from home for the very first time, known for being kind of quiet, really responsible, and then this message just arrives, completely out of the blue.
At first, she just figured it was a prank. Maybe from a friend, right? But that idea just completely vanished when a second message came through, a screenshot from a private video call. And in that one instant, a potential joke turned into a very, very real and terrifying threat.
So, how in the world did it get to this point? To really understand the threat, we have to look at the trap. See, this wasn't some random attack. This was actually the final stage of a really meticulous deception. Let's break down how this predator laid all the groundwork. When you look at the timeline, you can see just how patient and calculated this whole thing was. It all started 6 months earlier, meeting online. Over the next month, he builds up all this trust with daily calls. Then, at that 4-month mark, he convinces her to share something private. And then 2 months ago, he just vanished. Blocked her everywhere. It felt like a ghosting, but really, it was just part of the plan.
And the absolute key to this entire scheme was the persona he created, Ryan. He wasn't aggressive, he wasn't pushy. No, he was the complete opposite. Charming, funny, and just incredibly supportive. He used these classic manipulation tactics to create this false sense of security, finally getting past her hesitation with that one crucial line. It's just between us.
Yeah, it's so important to get this. This was never, ever a relationship. It was a process, a cold, calculated one. Step 1, gain her trust. Step 2, isolate her, reassure her. Step 3, collect the material he was after. And Step 4, disappear. Let her think it was all over, only to pop back up later as a blackmailer.
So with the trap now set, the predator finally reveals his true intentions. This is where we get into the blackmailer's playbook, a strategy built on psychological pressure and threats that just keep getting worse.
So what did he want? The first demand was concrete, and it was immediate. $1,500. He gave her a 24-hour deadline, turning her fear into a full-blown financial crisis. He wasn't asking, he was telling her. This was the price to keep her entire life from being ruined.
And he made sure the threat felt absolutely inescapable. It wasn't just some vague, "I'll tell everyone." Oh no. He sent proof that he'd done his homework, her mom's Facebook profile, her dad's work email, even the name of her little brother's school. Then he upped the ante with an edited video, threatening to blast it out to her entire contact list. He was systematically just closing every single door.
This was his final message to her in that exchange. Just listen to the confidence in that. It's chilling. He truly believes he has complete and total control, that her fear and her shame will guarantee she does exactly what he says. He's not just a blackmailer. He sees himself as a puppeteer.
And this, right here, is the psychological prison he built for her. Trapped by all his threats, ashamed of the situation she's in, and feeling completely, utterly alone. This emotional state is exactly what predators like him count on. Their greatest weapon is silence. But right here, this is where the story takes a massive turn. Instead of giving in to the fear, Emily did something the blackmailer never, ever saw coming. One voice, her voice, was about to break the entire chain of manipulation.
And this is it. This is the pivotal moment. With that deadline getting closer and closer, Emily made an incredibly courageous choice. She didn't go to the bank, she went to campus security. She documented every single message, every threat, and she decided to fight back. And what investigators started to uncover was just staggering. Emily wasn't alone. This number, this represents the other girls targeted by the very same person, all of them caught in the same horrible cycle. He had been so successful because, up until Emily, every single one of them had stayed silent.
So what Emily went through actually has a legal name: cyber extortion. It's the crime of demanding money by threatening to reveal sensitive information you got online. This guy's entire operation was built on just one assumption, that his victims would be so scared of being exposed that they would guarantee his silence for him.
So who was this guy? Who was the man behind the Ryan persona? Well, the reality was shockingly mundane. The charming, supportive guy was actually Mark Ellison, a 27-year-old who worked in IT support. Those custom, heartfelt conversations, they came from copy-pasted scripts he kept in folders on his computer. And that real connection? It was just a man living alone, meticulously tracking his victims in spreadsheets.
This quote, what Mark Ellison actually said when he was arrested, is just absolutely chilling. It shows a complete detachment from reality, a total lack of remorse. I mean, in his mind, the incredible psychological trauma he was inflicting was no more serious than some annoying user who could just be blocked.
But the arrest isn't where this story ends, not even close. This final section is all about what happens next. It's about justice, about recovery, and about how Emily took her experience and turned it into this incredibly powerful tool for change.
So what was the price Mark Ellison paid for his crimes? 7 years. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison for cyber extortion and exploitation. A clear, definitive consequence from the justice system, and it all happened because one victim refused to stay silent.
And these were Emily's own words from her testimony in court. It's such an incredibly powerful statement, right? She wasn't speaking as a victim anymore. She was speaking as the person who ended his reign of fear, directly confronting the one thing his whole strategy relied on, his assumption that she'd be too scared to ever speak up.
This really gets to a huge mental shift for her. For so long, Emily blamed herself. But through her recovery, she came to this really crucial realization. Her mistake wasn't being too trusting. The crime was his calculated abuse of that trust. And that shifts the burden of shame from the victim to the perpetrator, which is right where it belongs.
And this is the core message she shares now when she speaks at schools. She took the weapon that was used against her, silence, and she turned it into a lesson for other people. The blackmailer's power wasn't really in the content he had. It was in the silence he demanded. By speaking out, she took all that power away.
So we'll end with this question. Emily's story shows us the immense power that lies in choosing to act, even when you're terrified. It really challenges all of us to think about where our true strength comes from. It's not from being perfect, but from refusing to let our mistakes be used to build a cage around us.